think seasons bring rhythm, and a lot of times we as humans try to fight that rhythm. Like summer is time to be active and time to be outside for long periods of time in the sun, and then fall is more preparing for winter and harvest and like busy days but longer nights to recoup from those days, and then winter is just a time to kind of stay inside. I think winter is like obviously really short days and long nights, and I think it's like a cozy season. It is just a time to stay indoors and rest. I think a lot of times we fight against that rest, especially as Americans. We want to be productive all the time, and although winter and fall may not be all-out productivity, it's more a time of inner productivity. And I think a lot of times, especially in America, we're cramming school starting, we're cramming sports practices and all these different things into this time of like really, if we were meaningful about it, we would start getting ready for a rest, which is what winter is. Nature rests at that time, it goes dormant a little bit, but you can see it preparing for that. It doesn't just like all of a sudden happen. The leaves fall off the trees, crops are harvested, animals get ready for hibernation and things like that. And we as humans don't want to prepare for that rest because we don't want to rest a lot of times. We just want to continue to push through with that productivity mindset instead of preparing to rest. Because you can't just rest. You can't just say, today I'm going to rest, and then not prepare for it a lot of times, because especially if it's a whole season of rest, we don't feel productive. And so we feel like we're not living up to our potential. Fall is like this transitory time where we don't have the sunlight like we did in summer. Our activities are different because the sun is so scarce in the winter. A lot of us fight that we have all these things that we want to do, and a season is saying it's not time for that, and we fight against it because we think it is time, and we want to be productive, and we want to be productive in the way that we are comfortable with being productive, right? So like we want to check the thing off the list. We want to accomplish the goal instead of like setting goals for a season and being okay with those goals within that season. Like whether that's like sitting on the couch and watching a movie, or waxing skis, or going skiing and then coming home to a warm place to just be for the night. I think those are things that we don't really make time for. We just want to push through and like get to the next season if it's a season we're uncomfortable with. A season has purpose, whether it's productivity or not, whether it's rest, and being productive in that way is something that we just don't embrace very well. I think a lot of times we get this idea of rest that it has to be laying on the couch or taking a nap, and that sounds really boring for a whole winter season. But I think rest in a lot of ways can be just as productive. Like you could go paint if you're a painter, right? Like that can be restful for you. I think you have to find what gives you rest. And that could be playing a video game. That could be playing games with people, gathering around with your friends and family and spending time with other people. That can be restful. There are times when a nap on the couch is needed and we need to rest that way. But I think in long periods of rest, we need to find activities that are restful, not for activity's sake, but so that we are actually resting instead of just pretending to rest. I think rest, even though it's limiting and it feels unproductive, is needed in order to be better. If we are always going and we are always on, we get drained, right? We don't have the energy to keep up anymore for long periods of time. Or I think if we're intentional with rest, we become better. We become better athletes. We become better people. We become better parents. We become better friends because we have the ability to pay attention to what's going on around us. When if we're exhausted all of the time, we do not have that ability. We don't have the focus. We don't have the mechanisms. Our brains are just too overloaded and overstimulated in order to function well.
You want to say something? Mm-hmm.